Welcome back to the video. Okay, this is for these guys, and this is DX9's War in Pocket Tyrant and Hurricane, otherwise known as Galvatron and Cyclonus. Now, I am an absolutely huge fan of these two characters. Certainly the way that Galvatron looks, and Cyclonus is my favourite Transformer, full stop. So when they did Plague, well, Scourge, and they announced these guys, I was thrilled. And I got these the other day, and yeah, they are very nicely done. I mean, these are very, very tiny. I have one of... I actually have Feral Rex's fist. So, as you can see, they are exceptionally tiny. But the detail they managed to get in and the transformation, it's quite nice. They are quickly becoming one of my favourite sets. This and Iron Factory are doing some really great miniature-sized Transformers right now. So we'll start off with the Galvatron. Now, Galvatron, his detailing they've managed to get him fantastically. He does have a head swivel, but it's not that great because it's blocked by these shoulder pads. But he's got the full range of articulation. I do love his cannon. Yeah, he just looks brilliant. I love the colours as well. Despite the fact that it's two purples, they haven't just simply saved money by doing the same purple. They are two different types of purple, so that's also quite a nice thing as well. But yeah, so all around he's such a nice version of him. And for the size, you know, it really is. I'm impressed by these guys and what they're doing. This and Iron Factory are right now two of my favourite lines. I think these guys have actually also just announced they're doing a Devastator in this size, and that I cannot wait for that. He does have an ankle twist as well. His fists have no movement at all, but you do have that joint swivel there on the elbow, so you can kind of get around that. So yeah, now the transformation itself... The box, by the way, is also quite nice. You do get Galvatron and Cyclonus on the back. You get their alt modes. You get some nice artwork, and you get some stats as well, which fair enough. So it's a box standard box, but it's quite nicely done. Now for Galvatron, he does have quite a nice transformation thing. This bit confuses the hell out of me because this bit here just pops off. I don't know why. There's no reason for it, but there we go. So to transform him, you pull this bit up, and that hides his head. Then you can fold it down. This bit doesn't actually... It does move, but there's no actual, again, reason for doing that. Because the transformation is exactly the same regardless of what you do with it. From what I can see. And his shoulders are going to come down. His legs will come up. Sorry, it's not his legs. These little turret track things here will come up like that. And you can just position his shoulders how you want them. His legs. His waist turns around. You just fold up his legs like that. Fold this up. It just slots in quite nicely there. And again, just slots in quite nicely into one of the tabs on his foot. This then goes back on. And we tab that on as well. And there we go. So there's Galvatron's space cannon thing. Again, it's important to remember the size of these things. They're exceptionally tiny. But it's not a bad representation actually. I mean the fist's there, but you really can't do anything with that. But otherwise, yeah, it's a very nice cannon. They've got a lot of nice detailing everywhere as well. That's the important thing. I mean, the detailing for this kind of size is quite nice. I didn't actually have a look at Galvatron's head when he was in. So I mean, the sculpt itself, whilst not, it's actually very nicely detailed. You can see the details in his face. It's very, yeah. Once again, I'm deeply impressed with these guys and what they're doing. I think, you know, this is one of the best series going at the moment. For the cost as well. I mean, these guys, yeah, they're not cheap. They cost about £35, I think, for the two of them. So they're not exactly cheap, but at the same time, you know, for this size, the amount of fun you're going to get with them, it's worth it. Now, Cyclonus is my all-time favourite Transformer. He does come with Nightstick, so I think that's his name. Nightstick doesn't have any transformation. It is just a gun, so there we go. But again, the face sculpt is quite nice. These bits could have been a little bit further out, so it doesn't look like he's just got a three-pronged crown, but never mind. His articulation is a little bit limited in his shoulders for that way, but he can still go everywhere else. He does have sizable feet, but he is a little bit back heavy because he does have this hanging off his back. So you have to kind of lean him forward just a little bit to get him to stand. But he's a nice shade of purple. Once he's got the waist twist. He's a very nice little figure. He does capture Cyclonus, the look, quite nicely. So now the transformation, I do have a slight problem with this. This bit here, there's nothing to keep it in there, so it's very prone to just flipping back up again. There are two slots that it goes into, but they don't actually hold it in. So that's a little bit disappointing. But I turn his head around, just so it kind of looks a little bit neater. These bits obviously flip up, and there's two little pegs right there that they go into to hold it into place. If I can get them in there. There we go. So these are actually quite nicely secured. Now, there's a tab right there and a a slot right there. So that's what you're aiming for. To do that, these bits just slide down. There we go. And again, there we go. And there we have Cyclonus. It's a very chunky Cyclonus. And unfortunately, the nose bit never kind of sits properly, which is vastly annoying. It really is. But again, this is, you know, a small scale Cyclonus. This is the Scourge they came with. So just to very quickly, this is still a fantastic figure. I occasionally still get this guy down off the shelf and just have a bit of a mess around with him. This guy set the standard, and to be honest, Galvatron hits it. Cyclonus is a little bit hit and miss, I think. But then again, it might be the fact that he's my favourite and I'm still a bit biased and I was expecting something a lot more. That's possibly it. I mean, it needs to be said, the fact that Cyclonus isn't a bad figure. It is just me whinging right now, like a baby. If we just fold you around, and there we go. Clip you together. So there we have Scourge with Cyclonus, and of course Galvatron. So it's a really nice set. Yeah, if you can still find this guy, I would thoroughly recommend it because it is a very nice representation of Scrooge, one of the two. Galvatron, it's an excellent figure. Cyclonus, he's the weakest of the three, but he's not. That's not saying he's a bad figure. The other three are just really. Oh, okay. I forgot these bits also flip down to give that effect. So yeah, it's a really nice set. This bit lets it down just far too much, but it's not a bad looking Cyclonus. I've yet to see a Cyclonus that gets the back bit right. Classic's got the front end and the general robot mode down to perfection. They got the back end wrong because they just didn't know what to do with the legs. The Combiner Wars Cyclonus, yeah, he's great from about that bit up. Pretty much like this guy, really. Then you get the bit with the legs. So, in all honesty, he doesn't actually create any new problems I've seen with the Cyclonus. And to be honest, if he wasn't my favourite character, he wouldn't get this much scrutiny. It would be a case of, yeah, that was fantastic. It is just purely because, you know, I do like my Cyclonuses. But yeah, Galvatron is certainly, I think he's my favourite now. So this is DX9's War in Pocket, Hurricane and Tyrant, aka Cyclonus and Galvatron. And they're two fantastic little figures. If you see them, pick them up because they are such fun. So thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you next time.